2 more weeks and the doctor will be in.
Tonight on Politically Incorrect, from 60 Minutes, Steve Croft, author Julia Phillips, comedian Greg Travis, and Stir It Up contest winner David Brown. And now, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey, everybody, get ready because tomorrow is National Smokeout, and I wanted to say to Marion Barry, don't worry, it just refers to cigarettes. So that's not the... Yeah, boy, they got some problems in Washington. Poor President Clinton, still dealing with that budget mess. He was saying today, you know, not only does he have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul, but then he's got that sexual harassment suit from Mary. So... Yeah, Dole is nervous, too, because he's fighting this battle, and it might be bad for his presidential aspirations, which already have taken a tumble. You know, when Colin Powell dropped out of the race, Dole's rating went down, and people are worried about his age. They're focusing on that now. They think it may be his slogan, which is, are you better off than you were 40 years ago? You see, he's at that difficult age, Dole. He's too old for the White House and too young for Anna Nicole Smith. You know, there's Well, now here's the, boy, this is quite a story. In California, I forget the town, but a priest there has been accused by 18 different boys of sexual molestation. And in fact, in his diary, he wrote, I am a child molester. But of course, this is California, so there is not enough evidence to convict. Speaking of that area of the news, Paula Barbieri, OJ's erstwhile squeeze, was here in New York. She is meeting with public relations experts trying to figure out a way to fix her image. She wants more sympathy from the public, and they advised her to dye her hair blonde and get killed by OJ. So, stick around. It's all been satirized for your protection. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Let's meet our panel. First, an actor and comedian. He will be in an upcoming episode of American Gothic, airing Friday nights at 10 on CBS, and is in Showgirls, due out in video in December, and admits it. Greg Travis. Right over here. Hey buddy. How you doing? Good. All right, this is a talented author whose notebook is Driving Under the Affluence. Julia Phillips. Hey. Nice to meet you. Finally. How you doing? All right, he's a two-time Emmy winner, correspondent, and co-editor of 60 Minutes. You all know Mr. Steve Croft. Yeah. Steve, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. All right. He is a taxi dispatcher from Metairie, Louisiana, who's studying to be a teacher and a winner of our Stir It Up contest with this video.
Hi, I'm David Brown. I'm unafraid of cameras, and I live in the district that elected David Duke to the Louisiana State Senate.
Please welcome David Brown. Hey, David, congratulations.
Thank you. I think.
Okay. All right, well, we wanted to talk about the smokeout, which is tomorrow. I know you smoke.
Yes.
Right? Greg, you still smoke?
Mind if I light up?
No, we don't. In fact, I have cigarettes here for you. These funny cigarettes.
Are they funny ones?
Yeah, these are the, I don't know what these are.
Do you have the Black Death brand?
The cigarette companies do anything to sell cigarettes, which is why I wanted to bring this up, because you obviously had a big flap over at 60 Minutes about not
I'm
being
not sure I can talk about tobacco without checking with CBS's lawyers first.
Well, they're right here in the building, I'm sure.
Yeah, but tortious interference has such a nice ring. La-di-da-di-da. It sounded like a lot of la-di-da to me.
It sounds like whips and chains to me.
You two want to be alone? But, see, I think the whole thing is a big red herring. to make a big thing about, did the tobacco companies spike the cigarettes? Of course,
Well,
they're tobacco companies. They're greedy industrial scum. We know that. We've known for centuries cigarette smoking is bad for you. It's just a bunch of smoke, excuse the expression.
You learn that. This is the first thing my mother told me when I started smoking, like at 12. You know, it's going to stunt your growth. It's not good for your health. And you'll get hooked. It's addictive. You know, there's nicotine in the cigarettes.
Was your mother a smoker, though? Because, see, mine was, it's terrible, forget paste, paste, puff, puff.
No, my parents were both smokers.
Yeah,
and they
mine
told me
too.
this.
They're drug purveyors. What else do you expect them to do but make the drug, you know, more effective, more addictive?
Are we
That's how they
talking
make their
about-
money. What else?
Is that the companies or the parents?
I think the thing that's new is the layers of documentation that have come out over the last couple of years about what's gone on inside the tobacco companies. The degree to which they knew it, the number of tests that have been run over the years.
But did we...
But
well, I
isn't
mean,
this
see-
American? Isn't this cover-up? I mean, aren't we getting used to it happened, and then the next story is cover-up? I mean, across the board.
Don't you think everyone who saw their relatives coughing their lungs out knew? I mean, I don't think it was any big news
Is
to them.
anyone really looking at the cigarettes in 1995 and going, oh my God, I never noticed that? Hazardous to your health. Why didn't someone make this
You
clear
know,
to me?
that label isn't on cigarettes that are exported. In foreign countries, they don't have that warning.
That's not true.
Which
That is
yeah, no,
absolutely
it's
true.
not,
Like
yeah.
I say, that's true. That's a fact. And I think someone should do something
Once
about
again,
it.
we're purveying
Depends on the
something really fabulous to the third world.
Well, I think the smoke out is just like pouring a glass of water on a fire. I mean, nobody really pays any attention to it. When you're a smoker, you're going to smoke, you know, regardless. But what they should do is ban smoking advertising and, you know, do some real damage to the tobacco companies if they want to stop it. You know?
Well,
I sort of think this whole thing is being pushed by militant New Age yuppies, really. You know, I mean, these are the only people I really see complaining, people with sticks up their asses. I mean, you know what? A little ventilation, maybe a ceiling fan, wouldn't that do more?
But
I'm not sure what your point is, or if you have one, but...
But also really, I mean, we all know the stories about toxic waste and nuclear leakage, and my attitude every New Year's when I think about, I'm going to think about giving it up this year, is, but let them get rid of that first.
I couldn't agree more. No, that crap about second-hand smoke, as if that is the only toxic substance that we have. I mean,
In
there's
our air and in our
1,000 noxious
food.
fumes. People jogging behind a bus, complaining about second-hand smoke.
In LA
Again, it's a red herring, so that people so they can have a scapegoat. There's no scapegoats anymore in society, you know. So you got to have somebody to blame. There's no American starve out. You know, nobody says, hey, you
Oh, I
overweight
think we
people.
really need to think
tomorrow,
about that.
For one day, start sweating to the oldies.
It distracts attention from industrial pollutants, too, doesn't it? I mean, let's face it, what's causing more cancer in this country?
It's the tyranny of the majority. It's like living in Northern Ireland to a certain extent. You have now a political constituency in this country that is virulently anti-smoking. And they have managed to impose their will on the people that do, and on various local boards who regulate it. I was amazed the last time I was in San Francisco, and there was some debate going on out there, some political rift in the San Francisco political community between the transsexuals and the transvestites, which was getting for a city council seat, and this was a
City council?
well over a split in the voting block.
Come on.
I'm being serious, and this is a community in which you
I
can
was
do
too.
almost anything in the world
Right.
except smoke. I don't think you're allowed to smoke outdoors there.
You're saying if you have a joint in your mouth, it better be... Okay, I think I get your point. All right, we have to take a break, but we'll be right back.
For the normal man, being funny isn't easy. But hey, we're not talking normal here.
Do I have something in my teeth?
Comedy Central puts the spotlight on Jim Carrey in his new Morgan Creek movie, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Tomorrow night at 11:30.
Over the past 3 years, Dodge has offered a choice of more new nameplates than anybody else. Here are 3 more new choices that make it easier for you to drive an incredibly sophisticated 96 Dodge Stratus. Choose $500 cash savings, or an interest rate as low as 1.9%. Or choose a Stratus lease rate of only $229 per month. The Dodge Buyer's Choice Sale. The choice is all yours at the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
The family of the future will have many hundreds of television channels.
Gee, mister, won't that be confusing?
Not with this, a video guide. It'll let them see what's on 7 days into the future, or what's on right now. It'll give them instant news and sports scores. And with just one touch, they'll even be able to tape record their favorite television shows. Don't forget the tape.
So what do you think they'd call this video guide?
Video guide. It's about time.
Hi, my name's Matt, and I'm a really nice guy. But
Sometimes they're all you've got.
Do you love beer? Do you have a favorite beer glass? If beer had no labels, what would you drink? When everybody at the table is trying to decide on red or white wine, do you order beer? Do you know the difference between lager and ale? Why not Novemberfest? Do you love beer?
We're talking about smoking for the Smoke Out tomorrow. Now, one of the arguments here is that, I think David Kessler, the head of the FDA, makes it, is that if this is as addictive as they are saying now, that should be classified as a drug, like any other drug, which I think would just add to the drug problem.
Oh, well, then we're going to have mandatory sentencing for that. Then we'll have 2 million people in jail instead of 1 million.
Yeah, really, this is the wrong direction. I mean, part of the problem is too many drugs are illegal right now, as far as I'm concerned. Where are we getting violence off of the streets? Where are we, you know, people complain about drug murders. What's the real problem here? If you're a businessman, a legitimate businessman, somebody rips you off, you can always go to the cops or to the courts. If you're selling drugs, somebody rips you off, that's the only way you can get back at them.
That's right.
And when you see all these murders, kids grow up, they see all these murders, it's just going to create a climate of violence. Even if they're not selling drugs, they get it in their heads. This is the way to settle scores. What happened after Prohibition? People opened legitimate liquor stores, bombing stopped.
I got robbed once, and the cop said, well, it's kids out for drug money. So now I just leave drugs out. Cut out the middleman, let the kids take the drugs and leave the stereo, you know.
I mean, I'm for legalizing drugs, but then you run into that, where do you draw the line? You know,
yeah, I don't know if I would want to ride on a plane where the pilot may have just smoked a fatty. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'd want to go to a restaurant and eat at a restaurant where the cook may be smoking crack cocaine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Actually, crack cocaine,
wasted enough as it
could be
is.
very creative.
The Dutch don't seem to have much of a problem with it.
But why would legalization change that at all? You don't think if the pilot wanted to smoke, he would do it anyway?
I think it would.
He's having 18 drinks
I think it would
sometimes
encourage
before he goes in the
I think
air.
it would encourage drug use if you legalize drugs.
I think it would go like this.
Oh,
I
no.
think it would.
This is a denial of reality. People like getting
there's
loaded.
Going to be less drugs if they
People like
legalize
getting loaded.
them? That's
People
insane.
get loaded. People get loaded. People do drugs in Islamic countries where they get executed for it. Yeah, if there isn't a more severe penalty,
I figured it out the other day. See, we are the missing link. Everything between the amoeba and the machine is part of the missing link. And I think that to be around other living things, you have to alter your consciousness from time to time. So when we get to be machines, I don't think that, and they'll be the only ones that can survive in the toxicity.
The Dutch government would make the argument that by legalizing or decriminalizing hashish and marijuana, the soft drugs, what they call the soft drugs, that they've been able to cut back on the number of people that have become addicted to heroin. Or people with cocaine problems. You know, it's a different culture. I don't know if you could make something like that work over here. In fact, now all the European
Dutch
countries...
people are different?
Well, they are all
European
Dutch.
countries are complaining that everybody is now going to Holland and buying their drugs there because it's legal and leave. It would be interesting to see take a place like New Orleans, for example. if you were to legalize marijuana or legalize hashish, the soft drugs, just to study and see what the problems would be over the course of a year or 2 years or 5 years, to try it experimentally someplace, but then you would run into the problems of people, I think, coming in from the outside and wanting to buy.
Well, this point of view seems to assume that, I mean, it's like you're saying Americans are different than Dutch people or different than Europeans. Human beings are human beings.
Yeah, but what happens is when you have a certain drug that's legal, it attracts all the other drugs like heroin and speed and you know, every other drug known to man.
You've been talking to Nancy Reagan too much. What a bunch of baloney.
What do you go to Amsterdam and yeah, they have hash. They have hash bars, but they also have a lot of hard drugs to go along with it.
Well, and they've got treatment programs you can actually get into,
everywhere, which says more about the society as a whole.
I'm not saying I'm anti-drug. I'm just saying I don't think it should be legalized, Bill. Really?
Well, what other show do you have? Go ahead and say, I swear, I'm not anti-drug. Don't hit me.
I'm a little out of touch on this. Are people still prosecuted for possession of marijuana?
Are you kidding?
Yes, and there's all this
Mr. 60 Minutes, you don't know. It's like there's mandatory drug laws that every state, or maybe they're federal laws now, that have passed that there are guys who are rotting in jail for like 20 years because they had a joint in their pockets because the judge is restricted from doing anything else.
Right. That's the problem with the and the strongest argument, I think, against the elimination of the marijuana laws, because they're not applied in a uniform manner. I mean, but in New York City, if you walk down the street with bags full of marijuana, I don't think that the police would, even if they found you, they wouldn't arrest you with it, because they've got other problems that are considered to be more important. But I think there are places in the United States where the sheriff's department
themselves.
And just the fact that should be on a policeman's agenda. I mean, with all the crime. And if you were a cop, would you rather confront someone with a knife or a gun or a guy giggling? You know, I mean, it's not fair. We have to take a break.
I hate bigots, sexists, the death penalty, mysticism, flag lovers, Christianity, and music that doesn't offend anybody. My idols are Huey P. Long, Napoleon, Malcolm X, and Benjamin Franklin.
You're watching Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher at Comedy Central. At 11:30, the Kids in the Hall bring you Canada's cutting-edge sketch comedy.
Over the past 3 years, Dodge has offered a choice of more new nameplates than anybody else. Here are 3 more new choices that make it easier for you to drive a roomy, zoomy 96 Dodge Neon. Like cash savings of $500, or an interest rate as low as 1.9%. Or choose a Neon lease rate of only $199 a month. The Dodge Buyer's Choice Sale. The choice is all yours at the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
The family of the future will have many hundreds of television channels.
Gee, mister, won't that be confusing?
Not with this, a video guide. It'll let them see what's on 7 days into the future, or what's on right now. It'll give them instant news and sports scores. And with just one touch, they'll even be able to tape record their favorite television shows. Don't forget the tape.
So what do you think they'd call this video guide?
Video guide. It's about time.
For the normal man, being funny isn't easy. But hey, we're not talking normal here.
Do I have something in my teeth?
Comedy Central puts the spotlight on Jim Carrey and his new Morgan Creek movie, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Tomorrow night at 11:30. In any language.
Who's et encore ensemble?
Say, Otway?
La quoi, sweetie?
Comedy Central is comedy. Nothing but comedy. In November, Comedy Central brings you all new episodes of Dr. Katz. He's still a psychiatrist. He still has his son, Ben. He still has his receptionist, Laura. But he does have 2 new patients, Stephen Wright.
This guy's insane. I should have never came in here.
And Kevin Meaney.
My father, he loves to barbecue because he was a fireman for 30 years and he knows how to control the flames.
Make your appointment to see Dr. Katz. Watch a sneak preview November 26th at 10 p.m.
Got a problem with any of this? Well, write to us at 514 West 57th Street, New York, 10019. Or send us email at pi@cis.compuserve.com.
All right, welcome back. Now, another big story in the news this week was Hazel O'Leary, who was head of the, what is she head of? Something.
Energy.
Department of Energy. She's head of energy. Wow, that is a big vote. She must drink a lot. She's just flitting around like a racquetball. No, the Energy Commission, is it a department? It's a cabinet level department. Yeah. Okay, but a relatively new one, right? I mean, they didn't have that one
since Carter, huh?
Carter.
No, it's been around for a while, and now they want to get rid of it. So, of course, the Wall Street Journal broke this story.
Okay, but she did...
about the poor lady just trying to figure out which reporters like her story and don't. This is not like Nixon keeping an enemies list. This is, you know...
Why is it not like Nixon keeping an
Because he was suborning the... He was going to be King Richard. I don't think she wants to be King Hazel.
But if do you think these are the only enemies lists in Washington? I would suspect most powerful politicians
I've written 2 books behind enemies lists. I'm going to stick just to friends. It's really short lists. You don't have to write them.
Somebody said during the Watergate affair, talking about Nixon's enemies list, I think it might have been Ben Bradley, if you got to keep a list of your enemies, you got too many enemies.
Yeah, but don't you think, I mean, doesn't everybody have, I mean, we may not all write them down, but I mean, come on, 60 Minutes, you don't have an enemies list?
No, but you ought to be able to make your own.
I know you're on some people's enemies list.
You ought to be able to make your own enemies list. My problem with it is that Hazel O'Leary did the typical bureaucratic thing and went out and paid $45,000 for somebody else to compose her enemies.
And
more,
then didn't read it. And then didn't read it. The best part was the last sentence in the article, which was, oh, she never had enough time and it was too complicated for her to really absorb. So it was the list
that... more time doing her job and less time worrying about her enemies. She might not have any enemies at all, you know?
What is her job, anyway?
What is her job description?
It's like, what? I don't know.
Well, isn't that pious, Greg?
I'll take the high road on this one, Bill.
Really.
Yeah.
Why is anyone surprised by this? Why is anyone surprised by this? Why does anyone expect morality or ethics out of people who are running our country? If they weren't ruthless bastards, they wouldn't be very effective now, would they?
Oh, I don't think Hazel O'Leary comes under the heading of major ruthless bastard.
You never know,
Interesting, it's the black woman who gets to be in that. Not to get too politically correct.
She's not a black woman, is she?
Yes, she is.
Is she?
No.
She looked pretty pale on my TV.
No. Not unless they reverse the negative in the newspaper. No. Her cow caused a big fire in Chicago. That's the same lady. No,
she's trying to work it off.
You're thinking of Joycelyn Elders or
no, I'm thinking, well,
Aunt
there's
Jemima
like,
or somebody, but I'm telling you,
Hazel O'Leary is...
Steve, you're our resident.
Well...
Hazel O'Leary, black or white?
I thought white. Until she said it, I would have thought white.
Sorry, TV, if she's black, I need to adjust the color on my set, that's for sure.
But it's that color black.
Energy, and I think that's the main point.